Do you ever get worried at work, wondering what will happen, how a matter will turn out, or about some issue in the office? I was a litigator. I spent so much time worrying about, months down the road when this case comes up, what's going to happen? Why win or why lose? Will my client be successful? How will the judge rule on that motion that's pending? And I live in such anxiety waiting for the ruling to come in because I was so full of fear about getting a bad result. When fear inhibits your ability to connect authentically and confidently, you struggle to communicate effectively, to collaborate, or to build rapport. You'll miss opportunities for growth. Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Miles. The Free Lawyer Podcast is designed for the lawyer, entrepreneur, or professional who is in some way unfulfilled, stressed, or stuck, and is looking for something better. We will discuss various blocks that limit us from achieving the personal freedom that we all desire, but have not yet fully experienced. And we will give actionable steps to free yourself from them. Are you looking to achieve a new level of success? If so, this podcast is for you. Hey everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day and a good beginning to your week. Hope you have a great week this week. Today I'm going to talk about the topic of fear. And I know that so many of us, seemingly filled with self-confidence on the outside, yet we struggle with fear on the inside. I'm going to talk about what the major things are that sometimes in our field we're afraid of, how it affects us, and how to overcome it. And before I get started with that, just want to put a plug in. If any of you like what you hear on this podcast, I would love it if you do me the favor of going on and just giving me a rating to indicate how you feel about the podcast, because that'll help it get seen by more people and heard by more people. And I now have a YouTube channel. If you'd like to see the video of this podcast or of any of my guest episodes, they're being posted on YouTube as well. So thank you for all your support. So today we're going to talk about how to overcome fears in our practice and how they affect us and how to manage them. And I like this quote from Henry Ford. One of the greatest discovery a man makes, one of his great surprises, is to find he can do what he was afraid he can't do. One of the greatest discoveries, one of our greatest surprises is to find we can do what we're afraid we couldn't do. There's a lot of truth there. Do you ever get worried at work, wondering what will happen, how a matter will turn out, or about some issue in the office? I was a litigator. I spent so much time worrying about, months down the road when this case comes up, what's going to happen? Why win or why lose? Will my client be successful? How will the judge rule on that motion that's pending? And I live in such anxiety waiting for the ruling to come in because I was so full of fear about getting a bad result. What specific fears or anxiety do you ever encounter in your legal practice? And how do those fears impact your performance or your peace? Have you ever sought support or help to deal with that fear? And how do you maintain your level of confidence and resilience when you encounter that fear? The problem is that our fear is so often unknown, but yet very powerful. And we sometimes succumb to it without even knowing. How you respond to fear is what will set you apart from all the other lawyers you encounter. And it will set you on your path to success. Fear is a formidable adversary, and it really can have a huge impact on our professional lives, especially in our field of law. From the fear of failure to the fear of rejection, those emotions hold us back from reaching our full potential and hinder our ability to thrive in our practice. But it's essential to recognize that fear is a natural part of our human experience. You can overcome fear with the right mindset and with the right strategies. And today we're going to explore the barriers that fear can create in your legal practice and give you practical techniques for breaking through those barriers and achieving success. So what are the most common fears we attorneys face. These are some of them. A fear of failure. Have you ever experienced the fear of making mistakes or failing to meet your client's expectations or of losing a case? We often fear not meeting our clients' expectations, losing cases, or making mistakes that can harm our reputation. And the pressure we feel to achieve successful outcomes and the potential consequences of errors or losses can create immense anxiety. A fear of judgment. Do you ever wonder what other people think of you? We work in a highly scrutinized and very competitive environment where clients, other attorneys, judges, and the public constantly evaluate our performance. And fear of being judged negatively can hinder our decision-making and our self-expression. Fear of uncertainty. Do you ever worry about the unknown, the outcome of your matters? The fear of the unknown and the unpredictability of outcomes can cause stress and anxiety. A fear of inadequacy. Are you ever afraid you don't have what it takes or are not as good as other attorneys? Self-doubt can be a huge problem for many of us. I know it was for me. We fear we're not smart enough or skilled enough to handle the cases we have, and that leads to self-doubt and imposter syndrome. A fear of public speaking. Does public speaking concern you? Effective communication is one of our most critical skills, and public speaking is a central aspect of what we do. We either have to speak in front of our clients or in court or before some sort of an audience, before a jury, and our fear of public speaking will hinder our advocacy skills. I know so many lawyers experience fear or stage fright when presenting arguments in courtrooms or giving presentations or addressing large audiences. Fear of rejection. We face rejection from clients, from other counsel, or even from judges. And that fear can stem from concerns about needing to be more persuasive, or about losing a case, or about being perceived as inadequate. It can lead to self-doubt and to imposter syndrome. Fear of conflict. Conflict and adversarial situations are such a part of our existence. Do you ever back away from that conflict? Dealing with contentious issues and demanding clients or colleagues can be very challenging. Some lawyers are very, very difficult. And that can lead to a fear of conflict and avoiding the other lawyer or the demanding client because we don't want to have that confrontation. Recognizing these common fears is the first step towards overcoming them. Which of these fears have you experienced, if any? Are you ever afraid of anything in your practice? By understanding the specific worries that affect you, you can adopt targeted strategies to manage and conquer these challenges. And that will lead to both your personal and your professional growth. So how does fear affect you? We all have professional goals and dreams, but sometimes we don't take aggressive steps towards achieving them. We sometimes use excuses why we don't pursue them. And the biggest hurdle is we let fear prevent us from achieving success. We all know what fear is. If we're in the woods and we see a large black bear, we sense a physiological flight or fight response, and that fear is natural for survival. But in the professional context, our worries are often much more hidden, yet the results are the same. We feel dizzy, we sweat, we have a dry mouth, our muscles get tense, our heart beats faster, we lose our focus. See, fear has a profound impact on our careers, and these are some of the ways. Impaired decision-making. Fear can cloud your judgment and impair decision-making abilities. You may become overly hesitant or cautious, and you potentially compromise the effectiveness of your strategies or your advice to clients. Procrastination. Our fear leads to procrastination. It causes us to delay essential tasks or decisions out of fear of failure or negative outcomes. Overworking. Sometimes when we're afraid we're going to fail, we just work harder. We just spend more time. We prepare more. Preparation is good. But our fear of failure or not meeting expectations can drive you to overwork. And that can lead to burnout and negatively impact your health and your well-being. Self-doubt. Fear manifests itself as self-doubt. It causes you to question your own abilities and decisions. It undermines your confidence and your performance. Do you ever suffer from self-doubt? Do you ever doubt your abilities? Reduced confidence. Fear erodes your confidence. It makes you doubt your abilities and second guess your choices. And that lack of confidence hinders your ability to advocate for clients or to assertively present persuasive arguments in court. Professional anxiety. Lawyers facing fear may experience anxiety, especially in high-pressure situations such as court hearings, negotiations, or trials. And that anxiety will manifest itself as nervousness, trembling, or forgetfulness. It'll impact your performance and your ability to represent your clients effectively. Increased stress and burnout. The constant presence of fear can contribute to elevated stress levels. Allowing fear to dictate your actions will make you anxious. The fear of making mistakes and not meeting expectations can lead to burnout, exhaustion, decreased job satisfaction. It'll strain your relationships. When fear inhibits your ability to connect authentically and confidently, you struggle to communicate effectively, to collaborate, or to build rapport. You'll miss opportunities for growth. Fear can prevent you from seeking new challenges, pursuing innovative strategies, or stepping outside your comfort zone. And the biggest consequence of all is diminished career satisfaction. If fear goes unaddressed, it can undermine your overall career satisfaction. You'll feel trapped in a cycle of fear-induced stress, dissatisfaction, and limited professional fulfillment. Allowing fear to dictate your actions and your decisions will seriously affect your career and your well-being. Recognizing and addressing fear is essential to achieve that growth, that personal freedom you deserve. I call this podcast The Free Lawyer because it's all about how you can be personally free in the practice of law. And when you're filled with overwhelming fear, you're trapped in a prison of stress and anxiety and doubt. So how do we overcome these fears? How do we avoid those consequences? Your fears are manageable. Learning how to overcome them will help you achieve the life of your dreams. Here are 12 practical steps for you to utilize in conquering your fears. The first is to identify your fears. Recognize and acknowledge the specific concerns that hold you back. Take time to reflect on the root causes of your anxieties and understand how they impact your professional life. Likely, your fear is based on some subconscious feeling you have not yet considered. So sit quietly. Observe your thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Be mindful of what floats through your mind and what seems to be at work. What is it that you are afraid of? Gaining clarity of what is at the center of your fear will help you understand how to defeat it. 2, accept your feelings. Reflect on them. Simply sit with your fears and understand them. Don't judge yourself. It's normal to feel that way. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when facing challenges. Everyone experiences fear at some point. And truly, it's okay to feel scared. What is the cause of your worries? What story do you tell yourself about yourself that makes you think you cannot overcome them? Is that story real and does it serve you? Understand that it's okay to have those feelings. 3, seek support. Contact colleagues or a mentor or a professional network for guidance and support. Sharing your fears with individuals you trust can help you have perspective, encourage you, and give you advice on navigating those challenges. The best is to obtain a professional mentor. A mentor or coach can be tremendously helpful in processing what is going on and obtaining a new perspective. I coach some simply amazing lawyers. Every one of them is fantastic. But every one of them at times is afraid of something, is fearful. And together we work through that. And we work through the steps I lay out here, and we help them to overcome those fears. 4, embrace uncertainty. When you try something new or you take on a new challenge, the results are never guaranteed, are they? The future is very unpredictable, and that's okay. It's normal to have doubts and be afraid, but don't let that stop you from having the life of your dreams. If you are too comfortable, and if you live in a world of certainty, you will never grow. You will never change. You'll accomplish something new. And we're afraid to be uncomfortable. It's easy to live in a world of comfort where we do everything just right all the time, but we never grow and we never get better. And we never reach a new level of success. So change your perspective on uncertainty. See it as something exciting and refreshing rather than something that is scary. 5, visualize your success. Imagine yourself succeeding in challenging situations. And that vision will help you build your confidence and reduce your fear. See yourself accomplishing your goals. Fix those goals in your mind. See it. Feel it. Is it worth challenging your fears to achieve that dream of your life? 6, eliminate excuses. Fear makes us delay our progress, but sometimes we cover up those fears by making some excuse that isn't real. We might say, I don't have the time, or I'm not good at that. We make up some excuse as to why we don't try it. Drop those excuses. Take steps to overcome them. If you have identified your fears and understood and accepted them, those excuses are simply a way of succumbing to your fears. Tell your excuses no, and don't give in to them. 7, learn from setbacks. Instead of fearing failure, see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Some of the greatest inventions only came after many failures. I think I heard Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he finally figured it out. Every time we lose, every time something doesn't work out right, there's a lesson there. It may just be in patience and persistence and resilience, or it may be, how do we handle this case in the future better so we don't have that same thing happen? Reflect on what went wrong and how you can improve next time. Accept that setbacks are part of the journey. Use those experiences as opportunities for growth and for improvement. Our journey is not about always being perfect or always winning or always being successful. It's about growing and changing. Even if you don't achieve your goals in the first attempt, you will have learned new skills and developed more strength from trying. 8, prepare for success. For me, one of the greatest ways to overcome fear is preparation. It works. Thoroughly prepare for your cases, your meetings, your presentations, your trials. The more prepared you are, the more confident you will feel. Invest your time in detailed research, meticulous case analysis, and well-organized arguments. The more prepared you are, the more confident you will feel when facing those challenging situations. Planning and preparing weaken the fears that are holding you back. 9, face your fears. Embrace opportunities to confront those fears head on. One of the fears I had was about doing this podcast. I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of people thinking he's too old to do a podcast. I thought a lot of things. I thought I didn't have what it would take. But I embraced that opportunity. I took the chance. And now I love doing the podcast. And I realize how fulfilling it is when so many people listen to it. And I realized what I was afraid of doing, I'm actually quite good at. So gradually expose yourself to situations that trigger anxiety, whether it's public speaking or taking on a different kind of case. With each and every experience, you will build confidence and realize that your fears are often really disproportionate to the outcome. That is, your outcomes are so good and your fears were just nothing by comparison. 10, stay present. More often than not, our fears involve projecting ahead into the future. Will I win or lose this case? What will my clients say? What will they think? What will it mean if I fail? Stop focusing on the future and stay in the moment. Focus on what you're doing right now rather than what it means. If you stay focused on the present moment, your fears will lose all their power. 11, and this is really important, get into action. Now that you've prepared, now that you understand your fears, now that you know the next step, let's get started. You know what to do to succeed, and you have the tools and training to get there. As a litigator, I was much less effective if I focused on the case's outcome and overthought what it would mean if I lost. Instead, when I focused on preparing my case, I enjoyed the process, and I was freed to try the case effectively. I love preparing a case for trial. I love trying a case. I love the process. I love outlining my examinations, getting my arguments together. I find it very exciting. And I used to be so afraid of what would happen in the courtroom. And I found that if I focused on the present and just did my work and didn't worry about the outcome, things went so much better. You know what to do and you know how to do it. Instead of worrying about what it means and what will happen, just take your first steps to success. And 12, stay positive. Replace those negative thoughts with more positive and realistic ones. Instead of thinking, I will never win this case, reframe it as, I will do my best and I will prepare thoroughly. Acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Recognizing your progress and celebrating your achievements will really boost your confidence and reinforce positive habits. Make a conscious decision to develop a mindset of success. Know that you are good enough. Know that you have what it takes and that you are worth it. When the negative thoughts enter your head, just discard them. Be conscious of your thoughts and make a purposeful decision to choose thoughts of success and optimism rather than ones of failure. And you may say, oh, that's pretty easy to stay positive with everything I'm going through. But, so often we create a negative thought that holds us back. Many of you know I played a lot of golf in my life, and at times on a competitive basis against other schools or other teams. And that was some pressure. And I was a little bit afraid of losing. I was afraid of posting a bad score and being made fun of. But I learned that when I focused on the positive, I did so much better. When I'm hitting over the lake, if I think about hitting onto the green instead of don't go into that lake, my chances are going to be much better because I have a more positive thought. So I've learned that we can throw out those negative thoughts. We can choose thoughts of success, thoughts of optimism, positive thoughts that will actually serve us. Fear is a natural part of our human experience, but it doesn't have to control your legal practice. And these 12 tips, please keep them in mind. The first is identifying your fears, taking time to really understand what it is you're afraid of, accepting your feelings, knowing that it's okay to be afraid. It's okay, and you should accept that feeling. Getting support from colleagues or particularly your mentor, embracing uncertainty, getting out of your comfort zone, doing something new and challenging, and growing as a result. Visualize success. Create that image of complete success. Get rid of those excuses. We make excuses and cave into our fear that way. Instead, get rid of those excuses. You don't need them. Learn from your setbacks. When you have something that goes wrong, think about what you can learn from it. How can you do better? Get into action to prepare for success. Do your preparation. Face your fears. Know that you're afraid, but you're going to step through it. Stay present in the moment. Get into action and stay positive. I know that it's not easy to make all that happen at once, but if you focus on those strategies, it really can help. Recognizing and addressing your fears can unlock a new level of confidence, creativity, and success. Remember, every successful lawyer has faced fear. How you respond to it makes all the difference. Embrace the challenge, believe in your abilities, and step today boldly into the future of your legal career. Fear is such a problem for so many of us, whether we call it self-doubt, and I hope you found those steps helpful. What I've learned is it's easy to listen to those steps, but it's much harder to apply them. And that's the benefit of working with a mentor who can help to coach and guide you on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, talking about what your fears are and helping you get to the next level. If any of you are interested in talking about where you are and how you're doing in your practice and whether I can help you overcome any fears you face. I'd love to connect with you. I'll drop a link in the show notes where you can set up a call for us to do that. I hope you enjoyed today's message. Fear really can be so powerful for so many of us, but it's one of those things in our career we actually have power and control over. So I hope you all have a nice day. I appreciate you so much. And as always, please be well, be safe, and to be free. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Free Lawyer Podcast. Wherever you are listening, if you enjoyed what I shared, please leave me a rating and review. I would appreciate hearing more about what you like best and what topics you might like me to cover in future episodes. If you are interested in experiencing a more fulfilling and a more successful life, please contact me at www.garymiles.net, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me so I can learn more about you, your challenges, and your dreams. I appreciate each and every one of you and have a great rest of your day. Thanks to all of you for your support.